Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Nabi Podcast. I'm your host, Sani Nabi. We are back with another sports recap video, this time sticking with the world of MMA. If you are not aware, the UFC just had their latest ESPN event this past Saturday, July 24th, where we saw the former men's bantamweight champion TJ Dillashaw make his return after a 2-year suspension for testing positive for performance-enhancing drugs, and he made his return taking on surging bantamweight contender and the number 2 ranked Cory Sandhagen in the 5-round main event. This bout took place inside the UFC Apex in Las Vegas. Before getting into the main event, I'm going to go down the results of the main card really quick, leading up to the main event. The main card kicked off with a complete banger of a fight between two bantamweights and Randy Costa taking on Adrian Yanez. And in that fight, we saw Yanez have an amazing comeback after getting pieced up all of that first round. And he came back to get a second round knockout on Costa. The second fight on the main card was the women's flyweight bout between Maycee Barber taking on Miranda Maverick, and whether I agree or not, the incompetent judges of the night gave Maycee Barber the win by a split decision, which in my opinion she did not win at all. I thought Miranda just got utterly robbed here, and if you go online and even check the reactions of many of the fighters and watchers, they would all agree, besides, Maycee and her camp, as they shouldn't, you know what I mean? Regardless though, I won't get too far into that. The next fight was a featherweight bout between veteran Darren Elkins taking on Derek Minor, and this fight was pretty much the same as how every Darren Elkins fight goes, where he wins. He gets beat up for the beginning part of the fight, and then as his opponent, in this case Minor, started slowing down, Elkins took advantage and just broke him down completely and got the TKO stoppage in round 2. And yes, of course, there was blood, and it was all from Elkins. The co-main event of the night was a very entertaining fight between bantamweights Rowland Paiva taking on Kyler Phillips. And in the first round, we saw Kyler dominate on the feet and even got a knockdown. But once again, I guess these judges they just don't know how to do their jobs, and they didn't count that as a 10-8 round, as it should have been. And in the next 2 rounds, we did see Paiva make a comeback effort and possibly win those 2 rounds, and that's what the judges saw, I guess. Not one of the judges gave that first round a 10-8, which screwed it up for Kyler. And instead of the fight, being a draw like I thought it should have been, the judges gave it to Paiva by majority decision, and only one of the judges saw it as a draw, with the other 2 saying Paiva won. Moving on to the main event, though, between TJ Dillashaw and Cory Sandhagen. As I said, TJ was coming in after serving a 2-year suspension, and Cory has been knocking dudes out left and right, and in spectacular fashion as well. This fight was definitely a fun one to watch, and with these two being former training partners, in the past, it made it that much more interesting. First round starts, and both guys are somewhat feeling each other out at, playing a cat and mouse game, and, TJ was the one playing the cat, and Cory was the one being the mouse. And, TJ was just pressuring the whole time while Cory was just sticking and moving, and even landed a very flush flying knee and somehow transitioned into a reverse triangle on some crazy stuff. It was weird, but it was beautiful to watch. Although TJ was able to get out and land some good ground and pound after, and even got Cory down with a takedown after Cory threw up a lackadaisical spinning attack, but Cory got up not long after that. The round ends with TJ on top while Cory is trying to secure a leg lock, and when TJ went back to his corner in between rounds, he told his coach that his knee was messed up from that last scenario. It was very close as far as the strikes go in that round, and Cory landed 15 to TJ's 13 significant strikes, but Cory was the one who landed the bigger shots, including that flying knee. But TJ did have octagon control, with his pressure, and that one takedown, out of 5 attempts, you know what I mean? So me, personally, I gave that first round to Cory, but that's just me. Second round begins, and this was Cory's best round, where he pieced up TJ for majority of the round, and near the middle part of the round, Cory even dropped TJ with a quick left during a flurry, but for whatever reason, it was not considered a knockdown, which makes 0 sense to me. At the 2-minute mark on the clock, TJ got hit with a big punch also that opened up a nasty cut on his eyebrow right next to the top of his nose, like right here, For the last 2 minutes of that round, we saw more of the same of Cory landing the better shots and more shots, but the round ends and TJ is holding Cory up against the cage, and in that round, Cory landed 26 out of his 55 strikes, while TJ only landed 12 out of his 41 strikes. At that point, in my opinion, it was 2 rounds for Cory going into the third. In the third round is where we saw TJ start to wake up and completely shake off that knee injury that he suffered at the end of the first round. And it just looked like, he just didn't even notice it anymore. And he pressured Cory and just started throwing and landing leg kick after leg kick, very flush ones. Granted, he was still getting hit with strikes at distance by Cory, but the round was more of the same throughout, and TJ outstrikes Cory 26 strikes to 23, and TJ also lands the second takedown of the fight out of 3 attempts that round. Close round, but TJ did do enough to take it going into the fourth round, but, I still had it 2-1 for Cory. Round 4, very similar to round 3, where TJ was attacking the legs more than anything, and those were his best shots of the round. Again, he had the octagon control and pressured the whole round, but he was still getting caught from the outside with the long strikes by Cory, and Cory outstruck TJ this round 26 to TJ's 19. TJ also went for 5 takedowns and completed none of them this round. Like I said, TJ's best moments were off of a bunch of heavy leg kicks, which in my opinion did not do enough to win that round, and I gave it to Cory, and going into that last round, I had Cory up 3-1. In the fifth and final round, we saw both fighters just straight up go shot for shot all round and kept striking numbers close, where Cory landed 38 significant strikes to TJ's 40 landed. Once again, though, TJ landed a handful of solid leg kicks, but, it didn't do much damage going upstairs. Although he did land 25 strikes upstairs, which was his best round of, strikes landed going up, as he didn't land more than 15 in any of the previous 4 rounds before this one. It was a close round, but I'd give it to TJ as he finished harder and landed more and had, the octagon control once again. The fight comes to an end, and I personally had the fight 3-2 for Cory, but I'm not a judge, and the judges were, the ones who made their decision, and 2 of the 3 gave the fight to TJ 3-2. Huh? This fight was not a robbery like the Barber and Maverick fight that I was talking about earlier, but I don't believe TJ did enough to win this fight. You know what I mean? Between the big number of missed takedowns, being outstruck just about every round, and the percentage of missed strikes compared to Cory's, it should have spoke more volumes than TJ pressuring Cory up against the cage and having octagon control and, just holding him up against the cage with that control time, and pressuring forward. But like I said, man, he was getting hit the whole time going forward. I don't know. But regardless, though, this fight goes to TJ, which throws him right back into title contention. Sandhagen was ranked number 2, and I'm assuming TJ is gonna swoop right in and take that number 2 spot now. Do I think he deserves a title shot next fight? Not really, but who knows how that goes? You know how UFC matchmaking is. But I would like to see him fight one more time before that happens, if it happens. But, today, as July 27th, and TJ did post on his Instagram that he is getting surgery on the leg that he said that he had issues with. But it's not a super bad injury, but he will be sidelined for a bit. But when he comes back, like I said, I'd like to see him fight one more time before, any title talks happen. Definitely sucks for Cory, but the judges will never be held accountable, for things like this, and it's just going to keep happening. So it is what it is, man. What could you do? Regardless, though, I hope you guys enjoyed the recap. If you guys did, leave a thumbs up, follow the page, and I will see you guys with the next one. This was Nabi Podcast. I'm your host, Sani Nabi. Peace.